This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
Looking for your best sleep ever? Sleep Number smart beds are literally made for you. They adapt to your changing needs. So whether you're dealing with sore muscles or running hot at night, your bed automatically adjusts for optimal comfort. Want softer, firmer, cooler, warmer? With personalized firmness settings and temperature control that cools up to 20 times faster than leading competitors, you'll get the perfect sleep environment every night. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now it's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event, up to 50% off, limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
This is Ricey for my guy, Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Royce is a paid endorser.
On YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Right? You watch Landman?
Oh, yeah, I'm big on Landman.
Are you caught up with all episodes?
Yes,
So am I.
watch it every Sunday. Actually, if you're watching and it's late night Saturday, it pops up as soon as the Sunday.
What I was just telling you as we went on, I don't know how much more I can take.
Yeah,
The two female characters
it's silly, but I like the.
But I love Billy Bob's lines.
I like Billy Bob, and I like the old guy who lives in the house with
The
him,
lawyer.
who's trying not to look at the 17-year-old girl walking around half naked at all times, and he's funny, and the other guy who lives in the house is pretty funny too. But it's and Billy Bob's lines are great, but why do they have John Hamm and Demi Moore, and why is Demi in it?
Big stars, and they're hardly on.
Demi's been on for like 25 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, they must have some episode coming up with something that happens with her, but they only got a couple left. So.
I love the drug dealers steal their plane.
Yes.
Then crash their plane.
Yes.
And they want the oil company to reimburse them for their lost cocaine.
I think these guys are they're hard to get along with. These drug dealers are pretty bad. So what was I watching? Oh, have you ever this stupid documentary that's on? Is it on Netflix? Where's it on? About the guy who was the tailor in Vegas. He was the tailor to the stars in Vegas. Made it close. He ends up getting sent to Colombia to put a suit on. This is supposedly real. Put in the suit on Pablo, and then Pablo starts flying. Then the guy becomes the biggest cocaine dealer in Vegas in the early years when cocaine was first coming. So,
is it true?
That's what they're saying. It sounds like the guy's a bit of a BSer, but it's kind of interesting. But Pablo's the kind of guy, if you made him a suit, you hope he liked it, because he was quick-tempered. Did you watch the one series on him that there's an 8-parter of the first year of Narcos, which Narcos has got kind of silly after a while, but the first year of Narcos, the guy that plays Pablo is fantastic. And he's one of these guys that looks out over, and when he hitches up his pants, run for cover.
Yeah.
Run for cover. When he gives you the hitch, look out. That ain't good. It's the first year of it is pretty damn good, and then they tried to stretch it out because Pablo was already dead, so they had to bring in other bad guys. So,
based on your column today,
yes.
Was there a part of you that felt a little bad for the Bears?
I did. I do. I feel bad for a little bit, bad for Chicago. I mean, here's the deal. They're down on the 1 yard line.
Yep.
They're gonna go running in. This guy comes sauntering onto the field.
The lineman.
No, none of these 7 jackasses, coaches standing on the sideline say, "Hey, Tubby, make sure you tell the referee." No, but they're all standing there. He comes in. He's proudly leading. He runs right. It's a stupid rule that they know you're reporting.
Right, but you got to tell them.
It's a rule because they're a bunch of jackasses and they love calling penalties. The guy last year took the touchdown away from Detroit, even though the guy said, "Hey,
I'm on the end."
He didn't specifically say.
To the point where Campbell told the ref before the game, "We've got this play.
Yes.
We don't know when we're going to bring it out during the game."
But this guy just ran out there. So I was doing this column today with Dan Bernstein, who's one of the big sports star guys down there, and I got a couple of quotes from him. But I said, "So do you think the coach standing on the sideline looking like an idiot while the time runs out in Detroit?" Remember, you watch that at the end of the game?
Yeah.
36 seconds and they don't get a playoff? Or this guy running onto the field like a sauntering on would be the meme for the season, right? He said neither of those. It's Tariq Stevenson taunting the crowd. Oh my
God, it's so great.
Taunting the crowd as they're throwing the Hail Mary pass to win the game at the end. What a season they've had. I mean,
who's the current coach?
Thomas Jones.
Thomas Brown. They made
Brown, sorry.
But who did they fire after the Vikings game?
Eberflus.
Eberflus.
Not after the Lions game.
The Lions game.
But Thomas Brown was promoted 2 weeks ago to be the offensive coordinator. He's the offensive coordinator for one game, and now he's the coach.
Well, he'll be gone.
Oh, God, yeah, they're all gone. They're all gone. Everybody's.
Did you mention Verdi in this column, Bob Verdi?
No, I mentioned him.
Where did I see you just mention him?
A couple days ago, I mentioned him because I was.
I got a question for you because I knew Bob pretty well.
I love him.
Yeah, and is he alive?
Yes, but he gave up his job as the. When you look, the Blackhawks historian, he was writing pieces regularly since 2022. I checked with Wicker; he's a real good buddy with him, and he hadn't talked to him lately. I don't know what his health is, but he's probably retired someplace where he can play golf every day.
You think he's in his 80s?
He's 80. He's a year older than me. He's 80. I looked it up.
Okay, here's the part I want to know: where did he go?
He always
where did he go?
Never went to dinner. No, I don't know. Yeah,
wonderful guy, wonderful to talk to. Really a cool guy. And then you'd say, "Well, let's go. We're gonna have dinner." I gotta make some calls.
I gotta make a few calls.
Where did he go?
I don't know.
I don't think he had a family.
No, he didn't. He didn't have a wife. Never had a wife. But he.
To this day, I don't think he does.
No, I don't think he did either. He did. He just was. God, he was a good writer, though.
Yeah.
Oh man. My best though is he and Pearson. Don Pearson was a football writer for the Tribune. Great guy. Verdi's a great guy. They're down there in front in Soldier Field one day, and I'm sitting behind him, and Don says, "What are you going to write, Bob? 5 minutes to go. What do you write?" Bob says, "Finger." Finger, and Pearson says, "Thanks, Bob. I'll stay away from that." But
I think he lived in an apartment.
Yeah, he did. He just was. I don't know who his buddies were. He loved hockey. He always. He
covered everything.
Always covered the Crosby. He was like Netland. He always had to cover the Crosby, but. He would slide off into the nowhere, man. Yeah. He never went to dinner. No,
always had a cigar going.
Oh yeah. He was, he was a good writer though. I remember I was sitting next to him in Florida at was back when we used to cover the NLCS. I was there when the Marlins beat the Braves to go to the World Series, so it was 99?
Yeah.
99. And he's sitting there right next to me, and we're we got a little time because the game was early, and he starts giggling. And I said, I got to see what I got to read this because something must be funny in this column because he could come up with the lines his lines were always kind of, they weren't like, they didn't hit you over the head.
Yeah.
They were
We're old enough, either fortunately or unfortunately, to remember when Chicago was a hell of a newspaper town.
God,
It was second to New York.
Yeah, because the Tribune was great, and the
They got nothing now.
Sun Times were the feisty little underdogs who throw out crap and Royko and
then they had a Daily News.
Yeah, that's right. They did have an afternoon too. Was the Daily News the Sun Times afternoon? I think might have been.
Sun Times I thought was morning. Daily News was afternoon.
Yes, but I think I think that was one outfit, but maybe not. Maybe the Daily News was.
And now it's nothing.
Who was the guy on the couch when you went to
That was Royko when I went to visit him. They wouldn't let me in because he was sleeping.
He was great, though.
Yeah.
Man, he was great.
He was taking his nap.
I saw him. He was on his couch in the office sleeping.
Oh, God, I love that town when we used to make it. But that was one of my favorite towns to go to. And now you don't know, what's going on. I wonder with retail in so much trouble, I bet the Miracle Mile ain't the Miracle Mile anymore. Michigan Avenue.
Pat, the closer you get to the country's tallest buildings, the more those cities are
in rough shape.
In rough shape, including here.
Yeah, to some degree.
Are you shocked? No one should be shocked that Kirk Cousins is benched.
I think
that's a lot. What a country!
I think the Vikings played this so well.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want him. They knew he was popular because of the Netflix thing and all that other, not wearing a mask, not taking a vax and stuff like that. So, we'd really like to have him back. They never had any intention of having him back.
Yeah.
And they let these morons sign him for $100 million guaranteed. Mm-hmm. And then what we'll never know is, was it the owner that wanted him? And
Yes.
then the guy went and drafted
It was
the
Arthur
other?
Blank that said, go
wanted
get Cousins.
Cousins
Because
went
remember,
on to
the
the Super
negotiating
Bowl?
part was, Kirk, here's your deal. This isn't you going back to your agent or your agent going to another team. You take it right now or we're moving on to the next quarterback or whatever. So they offered it, I think, on day one or maybe even day 4 because there was the tampering allegations.
Yeah.
But they said, here's the deal. Take it right now or leave it.
Yeah, I think our chances of getting a great draft choice for Kirk's tampering are kind of reduced now that he ends up getting what are they?
Well, but they do
took
get
a 5th rounder or something.
No, they got a 3rd because of the compensation for him signing the contract.
That's
Is his replacement Penix or Penix?
Penix.
He was a kid at
But this is his first year, isn't it?
Correct. He's a rookie.
Penix was the left-hander from Washington. He's like 24. He was by NFL standards now. That's old for. He was at Indiana and blew out his knee, and came back.
Transferred to
got
Washington.
him to the championship game and looked pretty damn good until the championship game. He was awful because Michigan knocked the crap out of him. But it's funny. It's amazing. They're still only They're still one game out of making the playoffs.
Well, and that's
7
because they also have the tiebreaker because they've beat Tampa twice.
But they only put up 15 points this week.
Well,
what happened to him, though? He threw 5 touchdown passes like a month ago, right?
Yeah.
Well, plus they won Sunday.
Yeah, but it was awful.
Yeah, but the
Or
Raiders
Monday was
the Raiders.
game.
The Raiders might end up with the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
They're pretty bad.
No, I know they didn't play a great team, but I mean they can them after a win. Why didn't you can them after the Vikings lost?
Yes.
Well, that's true.
That was man alive. It's amazing. I never was on board, man. I never liked him.
I didn't either. It's not that I didn't like him.
No.
I just thought, well, he's just an average quarterback.
I think the biggest thing that Viking fans had issue with was not that he was a bad quarterback. It's that you were paying him Patrick Mahomes money.
Yeah.
That was the problem Viking fans had with him.
My problem with him was he kicked too many field goals. He got down in there. Now,
Yep.
he did have a one-year, real good year where they scored a lot of touchdowns, but they were down in there close and kicked a whole lot of field goals. These guys, though, this year, and boy, I hate to admit this, the Vikings, they haven't done anything wrong.
Nope.
They haven't done anything wrong.
I'm going to say it today, December 18th.
Yes, sir.
The Vikings finally will win the Super Bowl.
Wow!
Yes, I think there's a chance.
Yes, put it down. Write it down. December
Are you
18th.
kidding me?
December 18th.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Wouldn't it be something, and this is a possibility, that if in the same, and I brought it up a couple weeks ago, in the same year we have after all the decades of waiting, we have the Super Bowl and the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
It can happen.
It can happen.
Stanley, you got the Russians.
These are major declarations,
You got the right
boys.
coach here. This guy is
Heinze?
Heinze.
O'Connell.
O'Connell is he strikes me as the real deal.
And Hines, they're all the same. I mean, I think hockey coaches.
He looks
are
like
all
the guy he
same.
replaced.
Yeah, right. Yes. Well, it's like the guy that got fired in Boston. 5 days later,
Yeah.
you got another job.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I did something on Lavalette and Tortorella.
well, who's Torts coaching for now? They were just in town.
Is he in Columbus?
Torts is in
No.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Philly.
And-
He's never been without a job.
And Lavalette is in New York. And when they did that 24/7 10 years ago, that was the greatest.
Yep.
The greatest F-bomb-a-thon in history for four. They were the opposite.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But
It's almost like they traded wives.
It traded
Yeah.
husbands.
Tortorella
They traded
has had
teams.
he's been out of work for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and he's had 5 jobs. Lavalette's had 6.
Yeah.
Lavalette got hired, got fired, blah, 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 got fired again. Then he goes to Carolina to replace Paul Maurice in 2012.
Who just won a cup.
No, he wins the cup in 2016, gets fired 2 years later and replaced by Paul Maurice.
Right. Wow. But didn't Maurice just win the cup?
Yes,
With
he
Florida.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's had 4 or 5 jobs, including at the same place
Yep.
twice.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. I said that some places in most sports, if 2 guys end up coaching the opposite teams, managing the opposite teams, it's hey, wow, look at that. In the NHL, it can be Monday. If 2 teams have a bad weekend, let's trade coaches.
You know what? Based upon your declaration moments ago, it's a good thing we're doing Monday Night Sports Talk on Wednesday.
Why?
Because you probably wouldn't have had this hot Vikings take on Monday ahead of the Bears game.
Oh, no, I assumed on Monday they would have beat the Bears.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And I'm not basing it on the Bears' victory.
Okay.
There's a lot goes into this thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
But my analysis has been since day one.
When
I
they-
studied a lot of film.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah.
All 22?
Yeah.
When
All
they
22?
don't play great, they win. I mean, people are the reviews of the 30-12 win over the Bears were boy.
That was an iffy game, but they
didn't
pulled
do
it
this
out.
and they didn't do that. They were 7-point favorites and they won by 18. What's the problem?
That's the key, though. They figured out how to win.
Yes, they do. And
They're going to win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I wouldn't say it's outrageous. I wouldn't say that's outrageous.
I don't care if it is
Especially with
outrageous.
Detroit, losing player after player.
Detroit's got 18 defenders, 18 players on injured reserve, and 16 of them are defensive players. They're down. They can't stop any. They gave up 48.
Plus, they just lost Montgomery for the year, the running back.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's out for
He's
the
out for the year, too.
Oh, no.
That's your guy.
I made my prediction not even knowing that.
Yeah, that was your guy.
He's the hell of a running back.
He's the power running back, and then they got the other guy. but,
Montgomery is amazing.
He's a good player.
He's the guy that about 6 weeks ago they go into overtime. Remember that? They go into overtime, they get the ball, and if you score a touchdown,
Right, then it's
you win.
over.
They
Yeah.
handed it to him 8 times, and he ran it into the
Yep.
end zone.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that coach,
Oh,
while
my prognostication is looking stronger.
it's safe to say that I think the Vikes will win the division. Seriously.
Well, you got to beat him there, but you probably will.
They got them the last game.
Yes.
For all the marbles.
in Detroit.
Yes, sir.
Detroit might not beat anybody right now, though, defensively.
Who do the Vikes have Sunday?
We go to Seattle.
Seattle. Another noon game?
3:05.
3:05.
She's on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And Geno Smith is supposed to play, right? Their quarterback.
Oh, I thought he was hurt. I thought
he was, but I think they said he should be
Okay.
able to play. So,
Let the
but they
record
aren't
show.
great. They aren't great.
Let the record show that despite my deep analysis, I didn't know Montgomery was hurt.
Yeah.
right.
I would have made this prediction
Even
last
more
week.
emphatic.
Yeah.
Even more. Well, he got hurt this week.
That's what I
it
meant.
would have been
Yeah.
hard to make.
You know, that's what
Sunday,
whenever.
he got hurt Sunday. So I'll give Campbell credit. He's not moaning and saying, feel
But-
sorry for us.
When you're onside kicking the ball with 12 minutes to go in the game, and then you have to declare it now. So you're saying, hey,
Yes.
we're lining her up because they knew
Yeah.
they couldn't stop
Yeah.
Josh Allen. So
Right.
Well, that is stupid, though, that you have. Get rid of it. Get rid of the kickoff. Just give him the ball in the 25 and let's
I
go.
like Allen better than Patrick.
he's a player.
He's better right now than
He can
Patrick
do more
is.
than Patrick.
Patrick's a little more beat up physically.
Yep.
I
And
think.
Patrick limped off Sunday.
In Cleveland.
Yep.
Yep.
Patrick's not having a great year. A lot of interceptions. And
Yeah, but
not
how
having
come
a
they're
great-
13-1?
Because their defense
lucky.
is really good, and he makes plays at the end.
I
of the
saw
game.
a stat.
If he gets a ball with 4 minutes to go on the 25-yard line, and you need a touchdown, he's going to score a touchdown.
I saw a stat. There's 5 teams in the NFL that haven't scored 30 points once this year.
Wow.
It's the Giants, the Raiders. There's 2 other really bad teams, and the Chiefs.
Chiefs haven't scored 30.
They haven't scored 30 yet
Wow.
this
And
year.
they're
And they're
13-1.
13-1.
Their defense is really good for some reason. And I don't know, but it's all. I mean, the other thing about this team is they lost their left tackle, Darrisaw, who's one of the best. But beyond that, they're nobody hurt.
Minnesota will beat Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Buffalo, Joe, I mean, there shouldn't be any debate who the MVP is. It's Josh
It's
Allen.
Josh Allen.
Gotta be.
But they're talking up Lamar Jackson. But Buffalo had to give away about 8 good players to stay under the salary cap because they were so far over.
Including trading Diggs, yeah.
Yeah, and other players too, defensively and everything. And to have them be this, they don't have much defense, but that's okay because they score 49 or
The
whatever.
teams that haven't scored 30 this year are the 2-11 Giants, the 2-11 Raiders, the 3-10 Jets, the 3-10 Patriots, and the 13-1 Chiefs.
That's an amazing stat.
It is amazing.
What's with Aaron Rodgers going out and he's just flaming out? He's going to crash land.
He says he wants to come back next year.
But what's
right?
this documentary? There's a documentary about him. And
It's coming up, or is it out already?
Reeves,
I don't know anything about it. Oh, no, I did see I saw a little preview for
gets
it.
into his family
It's
deal.
about his meditation deal.
Yeah,
He gets into the fact his family doesn't talk to him.
I
and
guess
stuff.
so, yeah.
Some kind of Eastern thing.
It's some kind of Eastern thing. Buy a Husa drug or whatever it is.
Yeah, he's ever since he broke up with that crazy chick. Was it Olivia Wilde? Who was it? Olivia who?
Yeah, I think it was Olivia Wilde, wasn't it?
And she was bitter, man. And
She didn't take that well.
and then he went through all the other girls. Broke up with Danica too, and that wasn't smart. Danica introduced him to that Saban, whatever, the younger
Who's
one.
the current one?
He doesn't have one, I don't think.
Oh, no, he's dating
the Peruvian, but that's over.
No, he's dating the granddaughter of Johnson.
Oh, the Bucks guy, yeah.
Or the Bucks guy. Yeah. Hold on, I'll look it up. What her name is, Aaron Rodgers.
But up in Green Bay, those highfalutin gals, they get a little tired of going to Target.
Yeah, right. That's true. But the young gal that he was with,
I think that's the Bucks granddaughter.
No, Sioba, and she's an actress.
Oh, yeah.
She's an
Siobhan.
actress.
You're thinking of Woodley. Shylan Woodley.
Yeah, Shylan Woodley. And Danica, the driver, introduces him. Next thing, he's dating her and dumping Danica. Danica might run you over with a car. She's supposed to be a little...
Mallory Edens is the daughter of Milwaukee Bucks co-owner. That's Mallory Edens is the current Mrs. Aaron Rodgers.
Really?
Well, the current date.
Or dating, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Well, he's crazier than a hoot owl. Man, I had no idea that he was until about 8 years ago that he was that goofy.
Neither did I.
Maybe he got goofy, but when you got a brother who played football, who's kind of your, right after you, and you don't talk to each other. The guy that was a quarterback at Vanderbilt, and the family, they just.
Maybe
separated.
this documentary answers the question why they have such dysfunction. Why wouldn't a sibling talk to their parents? Mm-hmm. I don't know the answer. I don't really care enough.
Who's the golfer who won them? Patrick Reed. He's got the problem.
Yeah,
Patrick Reed's got the parental problem too. He married the older woman, right? And they broke up. Yeah.
Just steal a line from the late great Norm Macdonald. You know who else has the parental problem? The Menendez brothers.
He had one the other day where he belched. They showed it. The Norm Macdonald joke of the day was one time he lets out a belch, and he said, "Where the bleep did that come from?" But he used the bleep, and then he had to apologize profusely. And the Norm Macdonald joke of the day is can't miss Twitter, man.
Charles
Did he die of
Woodson.
cancer?
Yes, he did.
He had cancer in 1986.
Yep.
He knew he was dying and never told anybody.
Yeah.
Including his last appearance on Letterman, when he got a little emotional at the end, knowing this was going to be it.
But he didn't.
But everyone thought he was just kind of doing the deadpan deal at the end of the Letterman interview. But he knew his time was running out.
Yeah, he is the comedian that all the comedians loved.
Charles Woodson's here.
Because he knew how to tell a story.
Oh,
Yes.
It didn't even have to be funny.
No.
Because it was the telling that was funny.
The moth.
The moth, yes.
7
While
minutes.
your light was on.
Light was
7 minutes.
Yeah.
The moth. Why are you telling me
Why'd
this?
you come into the bar?
I mean, I'm a dentist or whatever it was. Why are you telling me all this? Hey, light was on.
Why are you here? Or something like that. Light was on.
Didn't he do that on Conan's show?
I don't know. Was he and the Earth was uneven?
And the Earth.
That was his too.
That was when he was on Stern.
Stern. The Earth was uneven. You heard that one?
Yes.
Talking about
Sleep with Uncle Terry when he's been drinking.
what was the place where they worked? Or the hatchery?
The hatchery.
Hatchery. They all worked at the hatchery. Well, Johnny, what the hell was this? What the hell was the moral of that story? You don't bleep with Uncle Terry when he's been drinking.
But he has two different versions of that one. But the unfiltered one on Stern is the one you have to listen to.
Oh, it's just the best.
Because it just...
Hey, is Stern still on?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's still doing it?
He's got himself quite a contract.
Who's he on with?
Serious.
He's just on satellite.
Oh, really?
I have not
Okay.
heard him in years.
I haven't either.
He's making a lot of money.
I don't have him on my
He's already
satellite.
made it. He probably already. Yeah, I got the small version of the satellite.
I got the Sternless version of satellite.
How's
I'm
that
not paying for
possible?
that. I don't know, but I
Oh,
don't
is it
care.
based upon your subscription?
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
If you keep it under like.
Well, I got
80
whatever came with the car. I haven't paid yet.
No. What'd you get? What'd you get now? What's your new vehicle?
We don't talk about that.
Well, at least tell
it a
Patrick.
small one?
Tell Patrick the story of the fella from overseas coming to pick up the car that you sold when he tried to turn around the tree.
Oh yeah, a couple of times I sold these old cars.
Yes.
And I sold a Triumph to a guy in Nashville.
Yeah.
And, first of all, years ago, I sold an MG, and the guy showed up in the dead of winter and was a Russian.
Yes.
It turns out the Russians are big in this business,
Okay.
car hauling. And the Russian hauled away the MG. That was quite a process. It was the dead of winter, and just getting into his trailer was difficult. But this last time, a completely different Russian showed up.
Sure. Yeah.
And he just knew maybe 3 words of English.
Yeah.
And the appointment came and went, and I called him, and he didn't know. I said, "Where are you?" And he said, "McDonald's." Mm-hmm. I said, "Where?" And he texted me a map. It was all in acrylic. Mm-hmm. The writing was all in, but I recognized it was down on West 7th Street. So I went down and found the guy.
Okay.
And you got to follow me.
Come on.
And it took him a half hour to back the trailer up in the McDonald's parking lot to turn and be able to get out. And he followed me home, and
Kalmakoff was not good at it.
oh, this was bad. And the trailer, you and I could have built a better trailer.
Okay, no.
It was ding.
I would have handed you the nails. But
Yeah,
that's
it was
okay.
terrible.
The nails.
And
Handed you the nails.
and I had to help him strap it down, and
But you got your money. You already had your
finally
money?
I got that money, and but I think the guy in Nashville was a little unhappy.
You know what?
Really?
Yeah.
You know what surprises me? How many Russians are around? We got a lot of Russians hanging out.
I just dealt with one at the credit union.
Where are all the Russians
Took
coming
forever.
from? Why don't you, okay, we need you for hockey, but what else? Why else?
Why are you
here?
suddenly in our banking?
Yeah, that's right. We don't want you in our bank.
Honest to God, I
Because
just
you might be sending it back to Vladimir for all we know, for God's sakes.
yeah.
I don't know. I trust anybody.
This
other
guy was
group.
very.
They're taking our jobs, Patrick.
This guy was very excited to tell me that Joseph was his middle name.
Oh.
And so he thought we
Named
had
after Stalin?
well, we thought we had a kinship because my name's Joe, and he goes, "Oh, that's my middle name." And
Joseph.
Joseph. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever watch The Death of Stalin, the movie,
I
the
don't
satire?
know. Maybe.
God, is it funny?
Yeah.
It's great. He dies, and then he drops dead. Uncle Joe drops dead, and all these guys that they're based on real characters, Khrushchev, and are wanting to replace him. And Steve Buscemi is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's find it. It's hysterical because and who's the guy that was like trying to be number two when Stalin dead, they ended up killing him too. Molotov or somebody like that.
You
The
know,
guy who
Khrushchev
plays
was
him
the
is
mayor of Moscow.
Yeah,
was the mayor of Moscow.
I know he had some jobs, but he was. He was an uncouth individual.
I
Remember
think so.
him banging the
He
shoe
banged
on
his
the
shoe
table,
on the table.
in Iowa. Yeah, but now we got him all over the place. It's I don't.
They're in the car hauling business.
That's right.
And what I've learned from that is, in the unlikely event I ever spend a lot of money to buy a car that's, say, going to be shipped here from Phoenix, I'm going to go with the expensive hauler. I don't want Vladimir to do it
Yes,
because they got the bad equipment.
Well, wait a minute. Kenny and I offered to fly down and drive it home for you.
That would be worse than it get hauled. It wouldn't be anything left of it.
Speaking of Russians, did we talk about Kirill's goal off the goalie?
When he had no angle.
He's like lined the goalie's
Right.
here.
Right.
And then I was there. The area open up above the net at a bad angle was like this.
I know.
Like, see that? Like this.
And there's 5 players in the league who could have done that. But that's it.
Yeah, he hits him in the helmet and it bounces in. It was the damnedest thing I ever saw.
2 or 3 games ago, do you remember his overtime goal?
Oh, man, was that great.
No time left on the clock, practically.
Right.
There's 3 guys in the NHL who could have made that.
Aaron Sigmund told me that after practice, either before or after practice, 20 minutes, he just does stuff. Mm-hmm. Stands out there on the goalie line and does stuff and makes these magical moves. He's practicing all that.
The
nonsense.
overtime goal was what was amazing about it is maybe 3 guys have the quickness with which that was done. Mm-hmm. That's why that went in the net. It was like these drones disappearing into the sky. There was no way to clock it. Nobody's that fast.
I got to ask you this. I've been ignoring the drones, all the drone stories.
Do you have drone thoughts?
Should we be nervous? I don't know.
Joe's not nervous.
No, it's not the drones that bother
me. There's not a
me.
weapon on them, I think
It's
I'm
not
okay.
the drones. I want to know what the other stuff is because mixed in with all the drone stuff is a lot of weird stuff
Like?
that ain't a drone.
Okay.
I want to know what that stuff is.
There's some other stuff flying around with the drones?
Well,
See, we think the drones are what can we
they're
get away
setting
with?
the table with something.
what can we
they're
get away
setting the
with?
table.
Yeah. Who are you betting, the Russians or the Chinese? I'm kind of betting the Chinese.
Foreign, no, I'm betting this is a distant planet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm going distant planet.
We had a gentleman on, Patrick. He's got the Unidentified Alien Podcast.
Yep.
Okay.
The UAP
It's a Hubbard podcast out of Palm Beach.
Wow.
He's got sources.
Well,
Yeah.
I believe him. Who was the guy? What was the guy that had the nighttime show?
Oh, that was
Bell.
Art Bell.
I loved Art Bell. I loved Art Bell because he said, "West of the Rockies."
West of the Rockies.
Somebody was calling from west of the Rockies. All right, Art.
Wasn't he in a house trailer doing that show?
I'm not sure. Rookie would know.
That was our guy.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, that Bob Davis was doing. Bob Davis was. Is he still doing his podcast?
He's doing something different now. He's basically unhoused. He's just driving around the
does he stop and do
desert.
a show once
Stops
in a
and does
while?
a show every once in a while.
But he just appears.
Yep.
And nobody knows it's coming.
No
on.
idea when it's coming or how it got there.
God, I loved him. He was my favorite. 12 minutes. I'm talking about some golf.
The Ryder Cup.
It was some Ryder Cup, and he said, "What did he say?" He
So is this
Are
tennis?
we talking about
Was that-
soccer?
Yeah, I was talking
Soccer?
about soccer. Yeah, the Ryder Cup or basketball or something. Then he went to some girl took him to a Phoenix basketball game with the Timberwolves. He'd
Yep.
never been to one, and that's the night that Phoenix got like 140 against him or something. And he kept saying, "Is the scoreboard broken?" Because he was. God,
He wasn't a sports guy.
No, he was not a sports guy, but he was a world going to end 2000 guy.
Sure.
Remember, he traveled around. He was the late night guy, right?
Yeah.
Listening to Art, and Art convinced him that all this stuff was
So
going to happen.
when if I would have been driving around the Twin Cities metro area, my AM overnight listening options were Art Bell and Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I never was up at that hour. You know, the hated Floridians are in town tonight.
Yes,
Paul Maurice is in town tonight.
Defending Cup champs.
8:30 start.
Yes, I don't
Oh,
like
is
Got to
that-
be the second game of a TV doubleheader.
Were we on the
Now
ESPN
hockey.
Plus?
No,
The
no.
NBA's been doing that for decades. but
TNT.
I disapprove.
TNT is doing that.
And
for hockey.
FDSN.
And by the way,
FanDuel.
By the way, TNT is out with the NBA.
I didn't know
This is
that.
their last year.
Yeah.
So next year you're going to have a lot more of those doubling. They consider us Western. We're not Western.
We're not.
Yeah, but anyway. Anyway, what else we got?
You're
Is
not
that
going tonight. That's an 8:30 start.
it? No, I'm not. Wouldn't do me any good. Wouldn't do me any good.
Yeah.
I think I better sell a car. Though,
I do
right?
need a Valley Group, sir.
That's a good idea right now. Winter is upon us. There are 4 varieties of SUVs out there. There are big Sierra trucks, heavy-duty trucks. The prices on these vehicles are low because of factory rebates and also low interest rates. Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers, Apple Valley and Hastings. I looked the other day, 183 vehicles ready to go. We can also order you ones, right? But the ones you want to drive them off the lot, show up right now, and you will get a very good price and all-time service. These guys have been my guys for 12, 13 years. Jim Paul and Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers. Check them out for the holidays. There's still time before Christmas to bring home the new cars.
Hey, GLers, you can save up to 70% off your holiday shopping with the Garage Logic Holiday Online Auction. Just visit GarageLogic.com, keyword auction to register now. The bidding starts this Friday. The auction runs through 8 p.m. Thursday, December 19th, and thousands of dollars worth of items will be up for bids this 1 week only. Some of those items include the ultimate golf package at Deer Run Golf Course, a Canadian fishing package for 4 at Fletcher Lake Lodge in Ontario, free golf lessons and 10-hour peak punch passes from Swing Lab, a 2024 modern buggy quad hauler from Pleasureland RV, stoked cookout packages including barbecue pellets, fire starters, oak firewood, and a barbecue caddy, a one-night stay at the Intercontinental Hotel at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, which also includes 1 night of self-parking, and free education with a certificate program at the Institute for Non-Destructive Testing. Remember, just visit GarageLogic.com and enter the keyword auction to view the items and bid.